can wear pants. I can wear a top that shows most of my body. And I continue to do so because of all the women who fought for that. Women have the right.
Women didn't fight for you to walk around looking like a whore, okay? That's not what they fought for. They fought for your right to vote, their right for your education, the right for you to play a sport. Jesus.
What is your opinion on modern-day feminism? Because I think it is one of the most harmful things to women. And also, how do we combat that along with harmful views on men? We're teaching our men to not be masculine. And
I'm not a big fan of feminism in any form. I think that feminism from the very beginning was anti-family. Even the early feminists, if you look at the things they were saying about the family, they were not big fans of it. And they saw it as a patriarchal, oppressive institution. I think that feminism has, from the very beginning, been an attack on the family. As it has lingered on like a cancer, the cancer has spread and gotten more malignant. And so that's what we're experiencing today. There are some feminists, I think a small minority, who are realizing all the trans stuff and the gender theory stuff is completely undermining everything they've worked for the past 100 years, even though most of what they worked for is pretty terrible in and of itself. If I were to look for like one bright spot, it might be there. But I just don't know if those feminists tend to be shouted down and ripped to shreds pretty quickly. So anyway, I just wanted to end on some kind of positive note. That's as far as I could get.
I genuinely don't believe that feminism is for equality. I'm sick and tired of hearing, oh, those aren't real feminists, whenever feminists are caught doing something hateful, and in this case, illegal. I've come to believe that at best, feminism is only pro-women, and at worst, feminism is anti-man. The best argument I've ever heard was along the lines of helping women helps men too, which just sounds like a con straight out of Animal Farm. Abortion and birth control are completely one-sided. It has nothing to do with being equal to men. And complaining about how girl gamers are treated, how women are objectified in the media, slut-shaming, and a lack of representation for women in politics just shows a gross lack of understanding about any of these subjects. All gamers treat all other gamers terribly, regardless of gender. Everyone is objectified in the media, regardless of gender. Men are both slut-shamed. It's called player shaming and virgin shamed. And women are represented in politics as more women vote than men. And that's just how democracy works. I mean, feminism definitely had a place 30 and 40 years ago. But in the US at least it's really run its course. There's nothing valid left to fight for. And what's worst of all is that if you disagree with a feminist, you automatically hate all women. Feminism started as a movement to gain women's civil rights in a truly unequal society. Voting rights, equal work for equal pay, women's suffrage, and reproductive rights. All of these goals were accomplished, and the movement essentially died in the 1980s until it was reintroduced in the 90s as third-wave feminism. Basically, all the real inequalities have diminished in society. For the most part, women get paid the same, they have voting rights, and they have reproductive rights. These are the initial goals of feminism. And obviously, if you don't agree with these basic rights, you're a misogynist by definition. I'm a feminist regarding these basic civil liberties. New feminism has nothing left to complain about, so they resort to rape culture and live experiencing inequality and patriarchy. New feminism hates men because they've been oppressed their entire life by something that doesn't exist. The new movement is based upon lies and rhetoric, and is basically a self-fueling circle jerk of victimization. New feminism is upset because their social equality is hinged on how the mechanic treats her and how bitch is used as a pejorative. Old feminism was based on gaining civil rights for gender that didn't have any. Feminists in the USA don't care about the horrendous things done to women in the Middle East. They just act like children, screaming that their male co-worker complimented them and that that is a form of rape. It is no longer about equality but superiority. Equality has been achieved. Women can vote, women don't have to be housewives, and women can do the same jobs as men. Almost seems like they want to pick and choose what they want to be equal in. Modern-day feminism is not about equality or fairness at all. It's about a grudge resulting from paranoid and irrational beliefs that the world is supposedly somehow conspiring against women, and that is supposed to be the root of women's unhappiness. Effectively, feminists are trying to acquire more and more privileges for women, never having enough because privileges fail to reduce women's unhappiness. Camille Paglia noted that since the 1970s, women's happiness has been steadily decreasing. The more labor-saving technologies are released to them to save them housework, the more unhappy women become. If you subscribe to a conspiracy theory that the world is biased against you, and this is the source of your unhappiness, you're making yourself passive. It's the fault of the patriarchy. Give me more rights and more equality. That's no good at all, though, if you're not really that fond of making use of them in practice. Feminists aim to devalue men and elevate women. They want to establish a matriarchal society instead of just abolishing the so-called patriarchy. Feminists are fighting for power. They call masculinity toxic. They continue to spread misconceptions about male privilege, patriarchy, and wage gap. They only worry about promoting misandrism and hatred. They don't care about equality. When they disagree with an event, such as International Men's Day, they squash it and call it off while pretentiously defending free speech. They fight for things like walking around topless. They go for walks while wearing only their underwear and griping about harassment. They are not battling for employment, voting rights, the right to an abortion, or any of those things. They already do. They simply desire more rights. What privileges do men have that women don't? Where did all the laws that safeguard women and hold males accountable originate from if we are a patriarchal society? If there is a wage gap and women can perform equally well with less pay, wouldn't it make sense for a business to employ only women? The goal of the female movement has never been and will never be equality. It has to do with power. Men are being fought and subdued by feminists. You cannot be a protected class and still want equality. You get to choose one or the other. Modern-day feminism is a cancer. Feminism is degrading to men. In some countries, you can't say boy or girl anymore because of feminism. Feminism blocks men's rights. The ideology itself is worse than communism. Feminism destroys free speech. You can't speak your mind anymore because of these socialist nuts. Feminism equals anti-democracy. That's all for today on Manhood. Don't forget to smash the like and subscribe buttons, and also click on the notification bell to be the first to know when I drop a new video. If you find value in my videos, you can show your support through PayPal or Cash App. The links are in the description. See you next time, cheers.